AEW has a lot of critics, and they just can't seem to shut the fuck up about it.
Wow, you're in the mix with Pro Wrestling Bits.
AEW Dynamite took time out of its busy schedule to shout out a handful of its opps this past Wednesday. During a segment that lasted approximately 3.5 hours, edgy heel MJF went there, man. But instead of rattling off former WWE names, John Cena, WrestleMania, MJF saved money with some cheap heat designed to highlight AEW's biggest critics. That despicable Maxwell Jacob Friedman shouted out Disco Inferno, Eric Bischoff, and Jim Cornette. Because, you see, MJF is a heel. You're not supposed to like him, so anything he says is bad. You see, the problem with that is MJF isn't really all that much of a heel. People love MJF, especially these days. And it's getting harder and harder for him to receive legitimate heat because everybody knows how good he is. AEW is trying to position these personalities as bad faith critics, but when MJF gives them credence, that just puts him over with a lot of people as pro MJF podcasters. Remember, this is the same MJF that called Tony Khan a fucking mark last year in Inglewood. I was in the building and people loved it. They were literally chanting MJF as he left the building, even though this despicable heel buried an AEW cult leader. When MJF returned, they chanted his name even louder. Whether AEW wants to admit it or not, MJF is not a full heel. He's a great performer who knows how to get heat, but also one who has a lot of supporters who will side with him over anything, even AEW. So when MJF facetiously big ups Eric Bischoff, Disco Inferno, and Jim Cornette on AEW TV, all he's doing is helping their subscribers. Which begs the question, where the hell is my shout out? My roasts about AEW are way funnier and better written and delivered more charismatically. Okay, we're not gonna make this about me. This channel is growing enough just fine without MJF. We don't need him. Thank you for the 3,000, by the way. We're bigger than WrestleNomics. Anyway, a lot of people are gonna Google those names MJF shouted out, and they'll find some pretty damn entertaining content. I mean, it's no Pro Wrestling Bits, but Keeping It 100 is hilarious and a good podcast. Shout out to them. Same goes to 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru. Anybody with an open mind and a sense of humor who likes wrestling will enjoy that content. So while AEW thought it was burying its ops, it was really just doing product placement. Guys, if you're thinking about your 2023 bodybuilding goals, then I have an important message for you. Hitting your goals are going to be next to impossible if your testosterone levels are in decline. It doesn't matter how old you are. The average male testosterone level has been declining at a rate of 1% per year since the 1980s. Low T can lead to lack of strength, decreases in bulk, and even male menopause, which causes a lower sex drive. I urge you to test your testosterone levels in 2023, and you can do it all with help from today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. I love Let's Get Checked because it gives me the freedom to measure my testosterone levels without having to get permission from a doctor first. You don't have to leave your home, you don't have to get off your couch, you don't have to go to a lab to get your blood drawn. It's very convenient. Here's me taking the test myself. Just took a quick and painless blood sample, followed the user-friendly instructions, and sent this bad boy to the lab. Got my results back that same week, and here they are. Long story short, my testosterone levels are lit because, like Hangman Adam Page, I am a man! According to the analytics for this wrestling YouTube channel, so are you probably. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available on your secure online account in 2 to 5 days. Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA and CAP approved, which is the highest level of accreditation. Your results are reviewed by a member of the Let's Get Checked clinical team, and they can even give you a virtual consultation, and in some cases, the clinical team can prescribe you medication that'll be ready at the pharmacy of your choice. So if you want to test your testosterone levels from the comfort of your own home, visit trylgc.com/prowrestlingbits for 25% off using the code WRESTLING25, also available in my description. AEW is an extension of its overly sensitive fan base in that it doesn't do well with criticism. Aw, you poor baby, do you have critics? Not everybody blindly supports AEW, and some people have the gall to point out the things that it's doing wrong. That sounds awful. But taking your precious television time to highlight podcasters you don't like is even worse. It comes across as low rent and really reminds me of how Tony Twitterfingers goes about his business. Tony Twitterfingers has a history of rolling around in the filth of Twitter and calling out anybody who criticizes his product, myself included. Now that mentality has crept its way onto AEW programming, where quote-unquote AEW haters are given real estate on a show that often tops cable ratings on Wednesday nights. By the way, for the purposes of this video, an AEW hater is defined as anybody who doesn't blindly cut for the product the way Tony Khan and the EVPs want them to. On the 21 Savage album, Savage Mode 2, Morgan Freeman said, quote, "Your haters only have the power you give them," end quote. So don't give these criticisms power by mentioning them, especially with your world champion who's actually gonna help their viewership by association. Who cares if people call out AEW referees for being so incoherent they couldn't officiate at an Elvis wedding chapel? So people diss AEW for throwing out one random match after another like Lisa Left Eye Lopez. You don't gotta cry about it in an interview. Don't worry that people call it All Friends Wrestling, or that AEW has enough nepotism to be the entire Kardashian family, or that AEW caters to hardcore wrestling fans more than Cracker Barrel and Hot Pockets, or that AEW signs more ex-WWE guys than Dixie Carter and Triple H combined. So what if people think AEW's locker room is more toxic than Dana White's marriage, or that the only thing more doomed on the Turner networks than Rampage is a Power Slap League? Do people think Tony Khan is a worse leader than the NFL version of Urban Meyer? Probably, but also take solace in the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars are in first place in the worst division in the NFL with a 500 record. God, that sounds familiar. Tony Khan is stretched thin with AEW, ROH, Fulham FC, and even the Jacksonville Jaguars, who play in the worst division of the NFL and might even have a chance to win it with the 6-win season they're pretty much doomed for. Close enough. Anyway, AEW will drive itself crazy trying to call out all its critics, and they'll also make these platforms bigger with more subscribers and more growth. Having said that, it's pronounced Alfred Kunawa of Pro Wrestling Bits. Please keep that in mind for a future MJF promo. Check out this video about AEW's issues behind the scenes in 2023 and subscribe before MJF makes me more famous too. Should AEW stop whining about their opps? Tell me in the comments.